is going to be the rematch of Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker. So they're going to face off for that controversial kind of no contest where Magomed threw that illegal knee, and the doctor asked Johnny where he was, and he said the desert. So no contest right there, and we're getting a rematch. So Magomed 18-1-1. He is coming off, believe it or not, like a draw and a no contest. So pretty eventful last year or so for him. He is fighting against Johnny Walker, 27-7, 21-7. He is also coming out that aforementioned kind of no contest against Magomed. But before that, he actually did a decision piece on Anthony Smith there. They're both the same age. Johnny Walker obviously is going to be the taller guy and has a huge reach advantage at 7 inches. Let's go with the odds for this fight. Right now, Magomed is a minus 500, opened up at a minus 550. So, yeah, pretty huge favorite. I think he's the third largest favorite on this card. To tell you about the last fight, the odds, I think that Magomed ended up closing at a minus 400. So people have been on the Magomed train for these last 2 iterations of this fight, and now they're more so even heavier on this fight. Gerard, I'll let you start off to break down the main event. What do you think about Magomed versus Johnny 2 here?
This is going to be interesting. I think Johnny Walker was kind of robbed of the DQ win, actually.
I thought it was
He
going to
could
be
have just
DQ.
walked
Yeah.
away.
Trust me,
But the
I
DQ.
had him in a I had Magomed in a parlay, and I was like, man, got lucky there, boy. It was bad, yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of that Malkoon versus
Yeah,
Brendan
exactly. Exactly.
DQ that Johnny Walker could have walked away with. But yeah, he said the desert. So, so we're doing it back in the Las Vegas desert.
Yep.
um, but I think 8 times out of 10, Ankalaev should win this. Um, Ankalaev, he's probably the most well-rounded light heavyweight in the division, I would say. And now this is going to be at a smaller cage, so I think that does favor Ankalaev. Less room for Johnny Walker to keep a distance in this fight and use that range. Um, I think you should have like the same game plan that I spoke of in the past. Johnny Walker should use those leg kicks, keep Ankalaev in range, and Walker does have that kind of wild card about him where he can mix in weird strikes, different angles. He has a freak of a frame and super athletic, and he almost I thought he could have also finished the fight with that surprise knee that Ankalaev saw.
Hmm.
But I think now Ankalaev, now that he's been in there with Walker, he might be privy to kind of the dangers that Walker might try on him. So obviously my pick here is Ankalaev, but I'm probably gonna stay away just because I don't like the odds. But yeah, I think 8 times out of 10, Ankalaev should win this.
Understood. Yeah, I mean, Magomed, great all around 205er. Excellent striking, technical, one of the cleanest kickboxers at 205. I think that he has fast, quick kicks, good accuracy as well. He can really do some good work in combos and boxing and kickboxing, stay safe throughout the fight as well. However, the fight where he didn't stay safe was when he ate a fair amount of leg kicks versus Jan Blachowicz. So that's something to note there. Magomed also has pretty good grappling. Even when you factor in his kickboxing kind of background, he has a great takedown defense of 86%. He's able to obtain good top control as well, control his opponents. He has good winning IQ. That's why I like to call it. Jan destroyed his legs, and he changed his game plan mid-fight in the fight, right? And his game plan was to wrestle Jan to a controversial draw. So, given all of that, I mean, in a fight against a guy like Johnny Walker, who's a beast of a 205er, just due to his unique frame and athleticism. I just feel that even though Walker has a explosive KO power, he's able to strike in high volume when he sees an opening, but that was more so early on in his career as opposed to now. He has been fighting a little bit more conventional in recent fights. I think that in order to win this fight, he needs to be a bit more wild and non-conventional and bring back the Johnny Walker of old, because if he tries to kickbox against a guy like Magomed, who is a just gifted and decorated kickboxer, I think he's going to be in for a world of hurt, because I feel like Magomed has him covered pretty much in all facets of MMA, except for that wild card ability, right? I think that the first fight, it ended in a controversial no contest due to that illegal knee. I think that because of how the first fight played out, I think Walker will attempt to fight a patient and measured fight again. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be more wild, because if you look at the record, I mean, his last few fights, he's been doing pretty well. Coming off of a decision victory against Anthony Smith, knocked out Paul Craig, submitted Ion Cutelaba. I mean, he's on a 3-fight winning streak aside from that no contest for that legal knee. So I think he's going to try to do the same game plan again. And I don't think that he's going to be wild, which is what he needs to do to be able to knock out a guy like Magomed. So I could see Magomed just kickboxing with him, kind of like a little sparring session, and then he's going to eventually catch Johnny Walker with some clean shots and just knock Johnny Walker out. Or I think Magomed also has this in his back pocket where he can take down Johnny Walker and control him just like he did Jan. So because of all of that, I just feel that Magomed just has this guy covered in all facets. I like to call that as a lock, in my opinion. I'm coming back for more. Last time we couldn't quite close it out just because it was a no contest, but yeah, give me back the Giga lock for this. I think Magomed's coming back, and I think he's gonna right some wrongs here, because the thing that I like about Magomed is, let's go back to the Ion Cutelaba rivalry, right? First fight, he was piecing up Ion. Ion was kind of stumbling all over the place, and then the judge did an early kind of stoppage because Ion was still throwing punches. I agree it was early, but in the second fight, once Magomed downloaded all the information, he just smoked Ion Cutelaba, and he made sure that this guy didn't have any business being in the octagon with him. And I feel like the same thing's about to happen to Johnny Walker, unfortunately. I'm actually going to root for Johnny Walker because I think he's a fun personality. He's a good dude from what I've seen in terms of some of his interviews, but sometimes you're running into just a beast, and I think Magomed's just going to outbeast this guy in terms of his pure kickboxing. So give me Magomed's a Giga lock, and we're going to end off the breakdown with that.